Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gabbing with Gabby. And today I have another super cool friend of mine, Yvonne Negron. Yvonne's an acupuncturist for 27 years. She's the owner of Golden Triangle and Acupuncture and Massage here in San Diego. And I've known Yvonne for a very long time now. She was the den leader for my son's Cub Scout troop. And I love Yvonne because she is a fellow New Yorker.
On, wrong.
And that just we bond immediately, right? Just kind of seek each other out, New York tribe. But
Mhm.
Yvonne is she's such a huge you know support of our community. She does tons of volunteering, tons of social uh, gatherings and support for anything that's going on, whether it's at the high school level or the city level or just in the medical profession. She just never stops giving to this community here. So she's a big support for all of us. So thank you, Yvonne, for being on Gabbing with Gabby. By the way, I'm Gabby, in case nobody knows.
So glad you cleared that up for us.
Yeah, I mean, I could have been somebody else, but I'm Gabby and
Mm,
we're gabbing.
very clever.
Yvonne, please share with us the wonders of acupuncture. I love acupuncture, and every time I come and see you, I literally pass out. Like from sleep. I'm so relaxed, not pass out like anything negative, but we go in there, you do your acupuncture magic, of course, an assessment of whatever's going on. I've come in with a number of ailments. One time I think was my shoulder, my back, whatever, all kinds of things. And man, you put those needles on and you put that heat lamp and you're like, I'll be back. And I've woken myself up snoring from a deep sleep. And so please share with people a little bit about acupuncture and the benefits of acupuncture, please.
Sure. I'm happy to. You're not the only one that stores. That's why we have sound screens in every room. So you
Oh,
have a
you do?
yes.
That's good to know. That's
Yes.
good to know because now I can just, sleep and not worry
Oh,
about.
you drown it all out.
Okay.
Yeah, as Gabby said, yes, I've been in acupuncture for 27 years and I love what I do. I just love what I do. It's just a calling to me and it felt right. And I just followed the path, and here I am in my little office of 500 square feet, and I
Hmm.
love it. Um, my kids grew up in my office.
Oh, really? Would
I'd
they
have
be
like one
sitting
room.
in the waiting room, like
No,
coloring or whatever?
no, I would put them in the third room with a little um, CD player, and they'd watch
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
I
cool.
remember that.
It's a great office.
Yeah, yeah, I treat everything from, of course, people know acupuncture for pain. Um,
Mhm.
Very common for people to have neck and shoulder pain, especially nowadays, because everybody's on the computer using their
Mm.
arms, not really moving things around as much, pretty sedentary. So I always tell people that the chi needs to flow. And if you're sitting with your arms like this, then the chi doesn't really get a chance to move. So I always tell people that I'm more of a chi facilitator. So
Mhm.
figure out where the chi is blocked, and then I facilitate it, move it around, get it to start
Mhm.
channeling again. I do cupping. I don't know if people know what cupping is.
I love cupping.
Yeah,
I
I do
love
too. I do too.
it. It's good
Um,
stuff.
and there's different types of cupping that people probably have heard of. You know, there's some suction cups, there's fire cups, there's bloodletting, blood cupping. Um, just basically anything to get the chi to flow again. There's a lot of Chinese massage that we do, Tui Na, acupressure,
Mhm.
Thai massage, different modalities that I've used along the way. And most recently, my big purchase was a red, blue, green light therapy. So I use that pen.
Oh.
So it helps with inflammation. There's three different modes. I use one for surface skin, like if you have acne or inflammation, rosacea. And there's another level that goes a little bit deeper and helps produce more collagen in your skin. And then there's
Oh,
the deepest level that affects the muscles and, gets the chi flowing, the blood flowing in the muscles and reduces inflammation. So that was one of my big purchases
that's a
during,
good one.
yeah,
Nice.
I was shopping
So
online.
if yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh, who doesn't do that right during COVID? Just Amazon. Amazon's like, woohoo, thank goodness for
Don't you wish you had?
everyone staying home. So if someone is new, because a lot of people don't really know much about acupuncture, but you say words like chi and get your chi flowing, how would you describe that to somebody?
Energy. I would say energy.
Hmm.
There's chi in everything. There's chi in our food. There's chi in the
Hmm.
air. You could pick up good chi from people. People have good
Hmm.
energy. People have, kaka energy. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, there's chi in everything. In the food that we eat, the birds have chi. It's all energy. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, in Chinese medicine, they say that when you have pain, we call that stagnant chi. So depending on where you have the chi, like let's say you have a stomach pain, and you can't. Um, am I allowed to say poop?
Yes, you can
You
say
can't.
anything you want.
Everybody poops, right? You can't
Everyone
poop.
poops.
So then we start to think about what is stagnating that. Is it because you're sitting too much and you're not moving your intestines around? Is
Hmm.
it the food that you're eating? Is your food not live enough? Is it doesn't have enough fiber? Are you not drinking enough water? And so as an
Hmm.
acupuncturist, you try to figure out what is the missing link. What is
Hmm.
it? Yin yang thing? Is it an internal thing? Is it an external thing? So we start diagnosing with by using different parameters. We take a look at
Hmm.
the body. We take a look at the person. We can even tell by the chi that the person has. You can kind of see if their energy is sort of sluggish, if they're depressed, if they're not taking in enough enough breaths to move their
Hmm.
chi. So there's just different things that you take a look at. It's not like a one size fit all type of medicine. You take
Right.
a lot of things into consideration, including the diet, including their lifestyle, including their relationships. How
Hmm.
often do they breathe? A lot of people forget to breathe. They
Hmm.
don't even know that they're not breathing. So,
Right. They're holding their breath. Yeah.
and I always like
Hmm.
to take a look at the very, very basics first. Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough roughage? Are you moving?
Hmm.
Just the basics. And then we
Yeah.
start
Those are
adding.
really, yeah, those are like questions I ask people too. How much water do you drink?
Yeah. You got muscle pain?
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink your water. It's
Mm.
free. Stretch. It's
Yeah.
free.
It's free.
Flex. It's free. Do all
It's
the free
true.
things first, and then you can start laying on the
Hmm.
supplements.
Hmm. That's
So,
true. And, to become an acupuncturist is not like something, a course you take, 6 months online and all of a sudden you're like certified acupuncturist. You go through a very extensive training,
yeah.
right?
I
These
I
aren't witch doctors, people.
no, my brother still thinks I am a witch doctor, but it's not.
It's not at all.
Actually
It
a
is a medicine and it's a real type um of modality of healing people, just
yeah.
like any other kind of modality. Yeah.
It's not like a magic needle. No, we're definitely affecting different areas when we treat.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
just throw a bunch of needles and go, let's see what hits the
Right.
spot.
It's not like right. Yeah, you take in all that information. You're looking at the entire aspect, the whole part of someone's life. Their eating, their drinking, their like you said, mental health. How much are you sleeping? How much are you exercising? All those things you take into consideration, and then kind of, all right, now what's going on? Where's the ailment? And
Hmm.
then you work from there, and you don't necessarily say like, my shoulder hurts. You don't necessarily like, okay, well then we're going to stick a needle in there,
Hmm.
right? It doesn't necessarily work like that all the time either. It's like, well, it might be somewhere else that we're going to be, because there's meridian lines, correct? Am I right? Am I saying it right?
Good.
Meridian lines that run through your body that
Hmm.
affect that, maybe that shoulder that's hurting, right? So you do take a comprehensive look at
Right.
the whole person, the whole thing before you treat.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, you just brought up shoulder pain. One of the very important analogies that I give. I had a patient that came in, and I can tell she didn't want to be here. One of her doctors told her to come see me, and she didn't understand why, how I could help her. She said she had shoulder
Mm.
pain, and I just had this feeling that there was something else going on. And so one of the things that I talked to her about is how there's different organs that affect different parts of your body. And one of the things with the shoulder is, you probably have heard before, Atlas carries the world on his shoulder. In Chinese
Hmm.
medicine, we have a saying that the 10,000 decisions are right here. This is where we make our
Yeah.
10,000 decisions, in the shoulder. And so I started talking to her about that, about how, you know, the liver has an effect, like anger has an effect on the liver, kidneys has an effect with fear, um,
Hmm.
over obsessing has an effect on your stomach and your spleen. And so when I started talking to her about that, she started crying, and she said, I have so
Wow.
much on my plate. I was the oldest of 18, or, 8 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
And my mom was mentally ill, and I had all the responsibility. So you could see where all that responsibility started piling up on her shoulders. And so
Wow.
that first treatment, we had so much incredible relief just because she had that emotional release. So there's just
She
so
was
many.
able to get it off of her shoulders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so then we started treating the injury down below, but
Hmm.
the emotional stuff had to come off first. And she had to make that,
Hmm.
you know. So when you start making connection as to how your lifestyle can affect your body, it makes it a lot
Hmm.
easier. You start freeing things up and you think, well, do I really want my shoulder to hurt? Do I really need to stack that responsibility on? And you start making better choices for yourself when you know how those choices can affect your body. So it's a
Hmm.
lot of fun. I like doing that. It makes me feel like a Sherlock Holmes, you know?
Right. You're figuring out the puzzle, right?
Exactly. What's the missing piece? Do we have extra pieces we can throw away?
Yeah. This is from some other puzzle. You don't need it.
Exactly. There we go. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So just like everyone else, you've had to reinvent your business a little bit
Mhm.
because, for a while, nobody could come in and see you. But, a lot of people have found, really great ways to adapt, and you found a really good way to adapt as well. So you started looking into a little deeper into GI tracking or GI mapping.
Mhm.
And so let's talk about that, how you came upon that and how it works.
Well, just like everybody else, the first week of COVID was kind of like
Vacation.
well, for me, it was like a twilight zone. Like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
And being self-employed, you don't know, how to, plug into the system. They're doing a lot of
Hmm.
unemployment for employed people, but being
Hmm.
self-employed, there was really no place for us. So yeah, I started immediately taking advantage of my downtime, which I didn't have a lot of, you know.
Hmm.
So I actually started looking at birds outside. I started tracking birds. I have like
Oh,
about
wow.
some pictures of the birds in my backyard, and I started doing bird feeders, and I know goldfinch and house finch, and I mean, my husband thinks I'm a nut. It's like we go for walks, and I'm like, wait a minute, taking pictures of birds in the sky. We
That's
had,
awesome.
no, it's totally fun. And then the other thing I started getting into is looking at the stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got that app that helped you look at
Mhm.
constellations in the sky. So Felix stopped walking with me. He's just like, yeah.
Oh,
He's like, you stop for everything.
oh. But you said something in the forum that I loved, that you said when you're feeling down, look up. So you were kind of doing that. You were like, I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna look around, and I'm gonna find other ways to look at life.
Right.
Right. And you found these
Right.
birds and you started looking at the stars and you started expanding your universe because our world got like this
Right.
real
Exactly.
quick.
Now you got to go
And
out,
you kind of went, I'm going to look up and open up. Yeah.
and there's so much opportunity outside.
Mhm.
Being in scouting gets you outside. Like even our
Mhm.
troop had the boys go around Miramar Lake, biking and walking and hiking, and
Mhm.
we did a trash cleanup a couple of weekends ago with I Love a Clean San Diego. It's
Yeah, it's
incredible
good
how much
stuff.
stuff you can find on the ground when you're looking.
Yeah. At something other than your phone.
Exactly, exactly. And David, I mean, actually, Dom, David, and Felix actually built me a garden box in the
Oh,
backyard.
nice.
Yeah, so I've got cilantro and parsley and
Look
beet.
at you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I took advantage of this year for sure.
Good for you. Good for you.
But once patients started coming back in, because the first week I dropped down to 5 patients, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, what am I gonna do?
And
And then
what was a normal week for you?
30 to 40, 30 to
Wow.
40 patients. So
That's
then
drastic.
about 5 patients, and I started cleaning my office out and organizing, and but then
Hmm.
very, very slowly, like after about the first month, then I started getting to 10 patients a week, and then it was like 15, and then it was almost like
Hmm.
it's a place to go. We have nowhere else to go. Let's go to Yvonne's and hang out for an hour, escape, listen to
Get
some
some acupuncture.
um, but I also started studying the gut, like you were saying, the GI mapping. I found this lab called Diagnostic Solutions, and a
Hmm.
lot of people complain about swollen joints,
Hmm.
swollen tendons,
Hmm.
migraines, constipation. These are things that are really more internal. And
Hmm.
you can put needles in, you can get the chi flowing, but you have to look a little deeper sometimes and find out what is the imbalance inside the gut. And so this lab looks at the DNA of many viruses that you may have been carrying around for many, many years. Like I traveled in Europe for like 9 months before I became a grown up.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of things you could pick up in traveling. Spent a month in China. Um, you know, definitely probably gobbled up some bacteria and parasites along my way. And so
Hmm.
tests started showing us what's going on inside your gut and how to clear it up. And so that's what I started getting into is more functional medicine and how to get people to take a look at what they're eating. Maybe they're sensitive
Hmm.
to gluten. I'm sensitive to gluten. Go figure. Me.
Ooh. I think a lot of people are,
Yeah.
and we just don't
So
know it.
right. Well, and
Yeah.
sometimes you don't have the symptoms right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really know what's going on. You have like rashes that
Hmm.
kind of go, maybe some eczema, some psoriasis. So you always have to take a look at what's going on inside the stomach, what's going on inside your intestines. And
Hmm.
so that's what I started getting into is functional medicine. And I'm taking like a 12-month course on it. A little packet every month that I'm supposed to do and turn in. So
Hmm.
that's what I did is start looking at other ways to expand my practice.
That's great. And you can do that over Zoom, you were saying, right?
Yeah, you can do just like
Hmm.
what we're doing now. I can have you stick your tongue out, take a look at your tongue, and
Yeah.
basically I can't feel pulse the way I normally do when people are in my office,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
definitely the tongue shows a lot of things, and you can have a conversation about what a person's diet is and how they feel about if they eat cereal for breakfast, how do they feel after that? You know,
Hmm.
if they eat something at night, can they sleep still? What
Hmm.
causes imbalance? So
So do you take any samples of any kind and send them off to a lab when they
oh,
look at that? Or
oh
yeah?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you want me to say what kind of
Yeah.
sample?
It's probably a fecal sample, right?
I like that. It's certainly more pleasant than poop. Yeah, it's funny because I have to tell you, it's hilarious. Felix got me a brand new Samsung S20.
Oh,
Decided, that I take so many pictures. This one zooms
right.
in really close. So he got it for me for Christmas. And I gave him a poop sample. I said, here, Christmas present. So
And what did he say?
he just cracked up because it's expensive. It's like
Yeah.
$400 kit. So
Wow.
yeah. But what it
But
tells you,
it gives you a lot of stuff,
ton
right?
of information. It's like about 60 markers. It looks at everything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It looks at viruses.
I have a patient for you. I have
Yeah.
that. Well, I'll tell you after. Yeah. I
Well,
do.
and the good thing is that sometimes your insurance can cover the lab. So, you can
Hmm.
submit one of those
Super
statements.
bills.
Yeah, super
Hmm.
bill and see if your insurance will cover some of it. So,
Okay, that's good to know. So you went from bird watching to astronomy to GI tracking or mapping.
oh, and then I also got into this thing called microneedling because I saw
Oh,
some of
yes, I wanted to ask you about that. Yes, thank you
it's
for bringing
very
it up.
interesting.
Okay.
So, what spurned this in me was that I saw one of those girls, the Kardashians.
Yes. I don't know which one, but yes, there is
There's
lots
one,
of them.
and she showed a picture of herself, and her face was all bloody, and
Oh,
it almost looked like she did gua sha on her face. So I looked at it, and she did micro needling on her face, and I was like, "There's no way I would ever let a patient out of my office that exposed, you know, out in the
yeah.
you can get so many infections like that." And so then I started looking at what acupuncturists are doing with microneedling. And just at the same time, there was a course that was offered in microneedling. And it
Oh,
was,
really?
yeah, so I was like, I'll take it. So it was like an all day course, and it was nothing that we didn't already know, but
Mhm.
the system. So there's a system of a microneedle. It's got 12 little needles, and you go around the face, and it stimulates collagen and helps take off the dead skin. And there's some serums that you use on it. So I learned about that too, but I didn't want to start doing that because everybody's got their masks on.
Yeah. Hmm.
Maybe in a few months I'll start doing that more as people, you know, the numbers start coming down and people
Right.
get vaccinated.
Does does it make you bleed, or because you were saying that
Yeah,
she looked bloody?
it turned, yeah, somebody
Oh,
did not know what they were doing, if you asked me.
okay. All right, all right. Because she shouldn't have looked the way that she did, is
Right,
what you're saying.
right. She shouldn't.
Okay.
No, no.
So just maybe more just a irritated skin, but not
Right,
bloody.
right. It will turn,
Because you
but
okay. Hmm.
like I would never let a patient go out with that. No, you want,
Yeah.
even when you do cupping, you always tell people to cover up because your skin is more exposed, your pores are open. You know, you want to make
Hmm.
sure that you don't get a wind attack or a heat attack, or you
Right.
want to make sure that they're warm. You don't want them to go kayaking after they get cupping, right?
Right. Let's talk about cupping, because a lot of people, I've got cupping done before, and it leaves what looks like a black and blue. It's not black and blue in terms of a bruise. It's just the blood coming to the surface of your skin, so it leaves that marking. But you get that reaction of what happened, and like it's cupping. They're like, they think it sounds like torture. You look like you got tortured. It's like, it doesn't, it's not like that. It's not pain. It doesn't hurt when you touch it. It's not. So if you can explain a little bit of the process of cupping, and I think that will help kind of clear up stuff for people who've never done it before.
Yeah, let me show you a cup. Do you want me to show you a cup?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Go grab a cup. Yeah. Go
I'll
grab.
show you cupping. I just
Okay.
happen to have cups right here.
Yeah.
So, I told you that my kids used to hang out here on Saturdays, right? So
Mhm.
they would do this to each other all the time.
Okay.
And of course, you know how fair Dom is. So he'd have like
Yes.
David would do this to him or on his cheeks, and Dom would come out with red marks all over his face.
Yes.
So this is called suction cupping. And so it's a plastic
Yes.
cup, and this is a pump. And you just put it like on your shoulder. You'd put it
Yes.
like that, and it would stay on your
Yes.
skin. Feels
Yeah.
great. Almost like somebody squeezing you, squeezing
Yes.
your shoulders. So, and then it leaves a mark like that. Because what it
Hmm.
does is it pulls the blood, the stagnant blood, up to the surface, and it pulls all that stagnant blood. And then you take it off, and it gives the fascia a chance to just stretch out and let that
Hmm.
blood move, right?
Yes.
And then this is glass cupping.
Hmm.
What we do is we light a big cotton wad,
Hmm.
we put it in there real quick, and then we put that on the skin, and it
Hmm.
pulls flesh. And then with the glass cups, I like to slide it. So this is what
Hmm.
feels so good to people when you go
That
around.
feels good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, just this feels good to me. I had no
Hmm.
idea.
Hmm.
Um,
And the heat that's going in that cup it's not making the cup hot. So when it touches your skin, it's not burning your skin. It's not like that. It's just enough to create a suction so that
exactly.
when it goes onto okay. Just
Yeah,
things I want to clarify so
yeah,
people,
yeah,
don't be scared of acupuncture and all these little things. They're fantastic and they feel great.
yeah. And very, very
Hmm.
old types of
Hmm.
modality. So what you do is you put alcohol on a cup like this. Don't get your lighters from Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
You put the fire in very quick, and it
Yes.
burns out the air. So then you put it quickly on the skin. typically it'll stick. But
Yes.
so that's the two types of cupping I do. But of course, there's other
Yes.
types of cupping that I do that, like if somebody's got a lot of pain, a lot of inflammation, sometimes we'll lance the area first and then put a cup and it draws out little beads of blood, which helps um, speed up the movement of blood flow.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's just another, yeah, that's good. That's good too.
It's so good on your hand.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can lay on it and rub your, or put it on against the wall and rub your back up and down on the wall. Yeah. All these little things that you can have, that just make things a lot nicer for your body. Yeah. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about was depression, and if people have depression and ways that acupuncture can help, because we talked about, it can, you look at the whole person, mental, physical, eating, drinking, and stuff like that. But maybe someone doesn't think about of maybe coming to acupuncture for mental health, that it could help, especially now where things, people are feeling a little fatigued with this pandemic and, staying at home and doing the same thing over. And then there's a lot of people in your space and life isn't what it used to be. And I think sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming, and it's okay for it to get overwhelming. And, sometimes you need a little help. And how can acupuncture help?
Yeah. Well, like I was telling you before about emotions and how emotions can affect certain organs. There's anger and there's sadness. And sadness will typically affect the lungs and breathing. So what you want to do is you want to take deep oxygenated breaths. I always find doing Qigong, I don't know if people know what Qigong is, but look it up. It's Qigong. And it's a great modality to help get Qi into your system. And there's some breathing exercises that you do to help move your body and get Qi. And there's definitely, I do this thing called chakra balancing, where I do the crown temple and yin tong and, different points on the red meridian just to balance the chakras. And really, a lot of it also has to do with people having somebody they can talk to, But sometimes people feel like they just need to get things off their chest and sort of process it. And so, a lot of times I'll do visualizations with patients with the needles in and have them think about something that they want to resolve. Because, I've come to realize in my old age that a lot that has to do with attitude is gratitude. And so there's things that you have to find in your life that you feel blessed about, you feel happy about. And you don't focus on the things that you don't have, you focus on the things that you have. And so that's one of the things that I learned from my uncle that lives with me. He's talking about the law of attraction. What do you want in life? You want to put that out to the universe and, see if you could bring that stuff back in. And it's worked for me. I mean, acupuncture has just been kind of like such a natural progression for me. The people that I've met have all just kind of, matter of fact, I got to tell you this, it's a trip.
Okay.
We had a flood in our garage. Our water heater broke. And the first thing I got was I have this banker's box filled with letters.
Uh-oh.
In the 70s.
Oh my goodness.
So I kind of dumped everything out on my rug because I was afraid that it got wet. I found a letter from my dad, like in 1974, 76.
I just got the chills.
It was a trip because people always ask me, how do I get into acupuncture? And I always tell them, the earliest recollection was when I was in the city and I went with my dad to a shiatsu graduation party. It was like a potluck, after you do your seminar, however many weeks. I was 14 years old and I went with him and this little Japanese guy named Watudo Ohashi, very famous. He taught my dad and the other people in the class how to do shiatsu. And and I remember thinking, God, my dad is so weird. And there's like this woman that took her shirt off and had the Waturo Hashi guy do acupuncture on her and he's sticking needles in her. And I'm like, why can't you just take me to a park? You know?
Yeah, right. And you were 14, which is the worst age
Exactly. Like put a shirt
to
on.
go with your dad anywhere.
Exactly. But you know, he was a huge influence on
Yeah.
looking beyond the norm,
Yes.
right? I always thought I wanted to be a healer. I always had that kind of, you know, lenience. I kind of always wanted to get into helping people, you know. At the did you ever do Ronald McDonald carnivals in your backyard?
Not a carnival, but I've had a party there. They did carnivals in your backyard?
You'd raise money for muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
And away from
Okay.
it. And then what we do is we turn our whole backyard into like a little carnival. You know,
Yeah.
our house, you know, you throw ping pong balls
Yeah.
and cups, and they'd always get me a tent and I would read people's palms.
Oh, how funny.
You know, you just have this kind of natural, like, oh, okay, this is what you like to do. And I knew everybody in the neighborhood. So I would just talk to them like, you know, you need to get a better relationship with your parents. And,
Sure.
you
You're
know,
just telling them what they needed to know anyway. Yeah.
no.
What did the letter from your dad say?
The letter. So I would always tell people that it was that experience that maybe planted the seed for me to get into acupuncture. But I read that letter, and my dad was telling me, I just received your letter. It's so lovely to hear from you. I'm so glad you're interested in anatomy and biology and physiology. I always thought to myself that naturopathy and acupuncture are the wave of the future.
Oh, funny. This was from the 70s, this
Yes.
letter?
And I completely forgot about that letter. I always used to tell people there's Waturo Ohashi sticking needles in that naked lady. That's what I was.
Yeah. But your dad was kind of a visionary,
Yeah.
right? He could see that this was a way of the future.
Right.
And it has come a long way because even from the 90s, when I used to work in an acupuncture office with Rick Gold, I used to work in Rick Gold's acupuncture office. And I mean, even then, people were, I mean, they had plenty of clients, but you ever mention acupuncture or chiropractic to people, they kind of like, huh? I've never done that. It's weird. Oh, tell people what the three main questions that you would get. Not as much now, you said, but in the past, what were the three main questions you get when they find out you're an acupuncturist?
They asked me, does it hurt? And I would say,
No.
well, I would say it'll hurt you more than me. No. And they would ask me if it worked. And I'd say, yes, of course.
Yeah.
No. But those are the main questions. They would say, are the needles clean? And, you know, they're
The
sterilized.
needle's clean. That one cracks me up.
Well, you know, back
No,
in,
we just keep reusing the same ones.
you know, in China, they did. They would sterilize them, they would
Yeah.
autoclave them. And then they would file them sharp again.
Yeah. So acupuncture does not hurt, and yes, it does work. And yes, the needles are clean. She takes them out of a plastic brand new package. That kind of stuff would never fly in the States anyway. There's so many rules and regulations here. You know, I mean, even in a hospital, you wouldn't be able to get away with stuff like that. So it is regulated. It is treated like a regular medical modality. It's the same kind of respect nowadays. So yeah, thank you so much, Yvonne, for being on Gabbing with Gabby. How can people find you or get a hold of you if they are interested in getting some acupuncture done?
Well,
You can
I have
share
an office.
website.
Sure. My office is in Sorrento Mesa, right off of Mira Mesa Boulevard in Scranton. And they can come give me a call, or they can text me, or they can email me. And insurance companies often will cover acupuncture. Blue Cross, Blue Shield, American Specialty Health is one of the insurance
big ones.
For acupuncture, yes. United Health.
Yep. Okay. We'll put all her contact information in the description below. So thank you again so much, Yvonne, for being on here. I hope you guys don't feel too afraid of acupuncture anymore. It's great. It's amazing. Go get it done right now. Go make an appointment. And we'll see you guys next time on Gabbing with Gabby. Bye.
Thanks so much. That was a lot of fun.